You're on.
Are we on? Right guys, we are on the road today. The podcast is on the road. We've come down to good old London to visit one of my mates. He's got a PT studio. We're going to record the podcast live, crack on, have a few coffees and see what happens.
Nice. Did you want me to say something?
Good boy ever that, isn't it?
Well, we do that. Our podcast.
Okay guys, so what we're trying to do with the podcast is actually to get out and travel a little bit more. Because me and Dan love to get out of the gym and travel about a little bit and explore the world.
We do.
But also we actually want to have conversations with people and try and get in the same room, and we always find that personally we get a better connection with people when we're meeting side by side really, rather than via online if we can.
Yeah, I'd say I'm not a massive fan of things on Zoom and Teams. I think you lose something from a conversation. Sometimes it's the only way to be able to do it, which is pretty cool in terms of being able to meet people from places you can't get to further afield. But actually, if you can get in a room and actually have a conversation with people, I think you build a better rapport, but also the conversation flows much better. You pick up people's body language better, so I think it flows. And also it's a nice opportunity for us to get out and see other studios and what other people are doing in other studios as well, which is pretty cool for us.
Yeah, something we really want to try and push forward now, today and in the future, is travelling about and having conversations with like-minded personal trainers to offer you guys as much value and maybe get beneath the weeds a little bit of what's going on with people's lives and what's going on with their training, and also maybe what's going on with their mindset around being a successful trainer.
Definitely get below some weeds.
Beers from 11 AM. So we just stood out here like a couple of square plums.
Got the wrong day.
Yeah. So, see you, mate. See you later.
Next one's Papa John's.
Little trip out. Good to see you, mate.
Dan. Nice to meet you.
Good to see the lab, mate. So guys, we are down in London at my good friend Sam's PT studio, and today we're going to be getting a podcast recorded and we're going to be having a nice conversation around Sam's background. As we mentioned earlier, it's about just having quality conversations. If you want to watch this full episode, you can click the link below and give it a watch. Hi guys, and welcome back to episode number 39 of the PT Education Podcast. Welcome, and we are in a very special location, don't we?
We're in a special location.
We've travelled, we are on the road, as they say.
We've gone international in the same country.
We've had a good little trip down here, haven't we?
We had a lot of fun. I'll let you introduce, because it's a colleague and friend of yours.
Yes, it's a colleague and friend of mine. So we are down in London to visit a friend of mine, Sam Davis, who has a PT studio, and I think the best thing is, Sam, welcome for being here.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you, mate. It's not nice to see you in person.
It's just been a big learning curve, and you learn fast when your bank balance is going. You learn very quickly when you're like, okay, crap, this is.
What do you think are the main factors in your life that have led to your kind of personal growth?
Gone deep, mate. I told you.
We knew these questions were coming. Boundary. So, what things do you think you've done well with it, and where do you think
I fucked up.
Where have you fucked up, mate? Where have you fucked up, mate?
It's boundaries, and also, like as you say, you become friends with these people, right?
Are we live? Right, so we have just finished our podcast with Sam Davis, a good friend of James in Wimbledon Park. We thought we'd finish out with a couple of beers, which we did after we did the podcast with Michael. We just didn't get any footage for that, unfortunately. I think our goal over the next sort of year or so is to go meet more trainers around the industry so that we can give as much value as we can to the trainers that listen to us and are involved in PT education, so that it gives them as much as a a big background of different people who've experienced different things and have gone in different ways. Some of us have gone into gyms, some of us have opened our own studios, and I think over the course of a year, if we can meet different people and give you a different load of stories, I think that's really helpful moving forward. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, mate, I think telling real stories, and like today's podcast was great because we actually went into quite detail, didn't we? Some quite personal stuff as well, stuff about business, the stuff about challenges that personal trainers have, and the conversations that we want to have in the podcast are all about real life stuff, real life challenges, real life situations that personal trainers are going to have to navigate themselves through.
I think as well with Sam, Sam's not really in the circle of people we know. A lot of the guests we've had on so far are people that we've learnt from, or people that are within a certain circle with us, and it was really good. Although you know Sam, you professionally haven't been together for a while, it was really good to get some ideas on how he runs his business, which is different to how we run our businesses. But I think that's a good thing, to not always just have this same perspective on everything, but to have different perspectives. And that's the best thing about going outside of our own circle and going further afield, which is something we'll definitely do. But for us, I think in terms of moving it forward, although the podcast is something we really enjoy, moving forward it's going to be the seminars, which we've really got a passion for. We really enjoyed teaching last year, and that's something I think we can definitely offer a lot of value with.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think it's getting out of our circle as well, isn't it? Getting out of our bubble and meeting other trainers with different perspectives, different ways of viewing business, different ways of viewing personal training. I think it's really easy in our industry to follow like-minded people and be in our own little bubble in our gym or in our studio, or maybe just with our one-to-one clients, and stepping out of that. And that's what we're going to try and do with the podcast. And any guys that come onto the seminar, me and Dan will be thinking about things from a bigger perspective, won't we? We'll try and be aware of our own biases and be aware of, okay, look, we want to help trainers with understanding of psychology, with understanding of communication, how to become better coaches on the gym floor for mechanics, but we also want to take a step back and have, as we said earlier, like real conversations as well.
I think that's important because it's easy to become part of your own bias, especially when we're in a bubble. We've got some really good trainers around us in Tunbridge Wells, and it's easy to build yourselves up and think that you're setting a certain standard. And I like to think we are setting a standard, but that's not to say other people around the country are doing different things and equally setting a really good standard in a different way. And it's that different way. I hate that thing where now it's like, if it's different, it's not as good. It's like, you can be doing something as good, if not better, differently, and it's not that I need to switch over to that, it's just respecting and understanding that. And if I can take things from that, there's a couple of things I learned today. It was like, maybe something I wouldn't have used in terms of the technology that Sam uses, but that's fine. And actually he found it's really beneficial. He's got some really good results that way, and I think that's great. I don't think we should become so all-encompassing the way we do things because we've got a few results and think that's the only way to do it, because it's certainly not.
Well, this came up in the podcast today, wasn't it, about having humility? Going, look, you know what, we all try and get better each day and try and learn more. But as soon as we get a bit of an ego on, I'm the best trainer, I've got all the knowledge, I've got the answers, then you stop growing and developing. And one thing we try and do in the podcast is to get out, chat to other trainers who might have different knowledge or better knowledge than us in certain areas, and that's fine. And then realise where our strengths lie, and bring that value into the podcast and bring that value into seminars. I just think it's so important because personal training, hopefully we want to see it grow and develop and become this kind of amazing journey for trainers to go on. But we have to get out of our bubble, and that's a big kind of philosophy, isn't it, of the business?
And it's so, one of the things definitely over the next year or so with the podcast, we'll definitely be going to seeing more people, definitely getting out and travelling, as well as doing the podcast every week to try and bring the best value we can, and then deliver that in the seminars to upskill people and try and lift the level of personal training. So we really hope you enjoyed this little trip up to London. Something slightly different. We got a few highlights this time. Didn't miss out on everything like we did with our last few guests, and we'll try and bring a bit more content like this over the coming year.
Cheers.